too.
Would be obvious.
One, two.
On 2-7. 3 minutes to get the blood back in the lips. All right.
Do we? I can't. I'll tell you. You can hear it.
I had last year we did it 5 times.
Okay.
Skipping tick works. I did last year. I don't have a pencil right now. You got a pen on it?
We have one of those
Jack up
clickers
the
that
tempo so that they move fast.
No, we do it like like a door clicker. Yeah, one of those. I don't know why we have it.
2018 talent.
Really, I can't remember why we had it.
we go. One. Here goes. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you and good afternoon. For those of you who are standing, please feel free to be seated. Members of the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty, graduating class of the year 2018, distinguished guests and honorees, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome you to these commencement ceremonies. The Medical College of Wisconsin is pleased to honor the women and men upon whom degrees will be conferred today. This day is a great moment in the lives of these individuals. We're especially pleased that all of you are here today to share in their special moments. Commencement's also a time to acknowledge new beginnings and not endings. Graduates, you're embarking on a profound and important journey. As a physician, scientist, or healthcare leader, your knowledge and skills must continue to grow because the science and art of medicine are ever evolving. The coming years will see changes in your professions that will demand your commitment to lifelong learning. It's our fervent wish that as an alumnus or alumna, your ties to MCW will remain strong and that we will continue to be an important influence and a force in your life. We also wish that your professional life will enrich not only you and your families, but the world as well. Earlier this week, we celebrated Founders Day, commemorating our 125th anniversary as a cornerstone institution in the region and in the state. During this time, we've created new knowledge that spans the entire healthcare continuum, from bench to bedside to community. We've created and continue to create the knowledge that changes lives through training the next generation of healthcare professionals, through biomedical research, through clinical breakthroughs and specialty expertise, and through interactions and partnerships with our communities. We hope that you'll join us throughout 2018 as we commemorate our storied past and look forward to our exciting and innovative future. Now, I would like to introduce Ms. Elizabeth Betsy Brenner, a distinguished member of the MCW Board of Trustees, to offer her congratulations to our graduates.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, permit me to extend our sincere congratulations to each and every graduate. We take great pleasure and pride in your singular accomplishments. As you commence your new beginning as a scientist, as a physician, a researcher, or a servant of the public's health and ethics, we salute you and wish you well. We know that you'll bring great honor both to yourselves and to your alma mater. Congratulations and best wishes.
I now would like to invite Dr. Joseph E. Kirchner, MCW's Provost and Executive Vice President and Dean of the School of Medicine, to the podium.
The Medical College of Wisconsin is working to rewrite the stories of individuals touched by our faculty, staff, students, and alumni who are generating the knowledge that changes life as a whole as well as individual lives. MCW is working to solve the toughest challenges in health and society in Southeast Wisconsin and beyond. We provide superior quality clinical care in tandem with our hospital partners. We are a model of excellence for training healthcare professionals. We are a focal point for scientific leadership, new discoveries, and new technologies. And we are a magnet for talent to achieve all of the above. I would ask that you turn your attention to the screens for a special video that highlights our life-changing endeavors at the Medical College of Wisconsin, powered by our valued partnerships.
New knowledge can change everything. A single life, an entire community. The future as we know it. That knowledge starts here at the Medical College of Wisconsin, where MCW teams spark the ideas that inspire the research, driving the discoveries which lead to the treatments that will eventually change everything. What we do at MCW today rewrites someone's tomorrow. The Medical College of Wisconsin. Knowledge changing life.
I've seen that video about 30 times and I get goosebumps every time I see it again. The message of knowledge changing life reflects the breadth and depth of our impact on everyday lives. As the video relates, new knowledge can change everything, a single life, an entire community, and the future as we know it. At the Medical College of Wisconsin, our knowledge is rewriting people's stories, and we hope you will share these with your friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Our stories are countless and our impact is immeasurable. We believe the only way to build a healthier world is to build it together.
It's now time to begin the ceremonies that will culminate with the awarding of academic degrees. On behalf of the MCW family, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to the 2018 graduates of MCW. We're delighted to join with your families and friends in celebrating your academic achievements. Each year, we share this graduation day with a special group of our alumni, the School of Medicine graduates of 50 years ago. James Billings, a member of the School of Medicine's class of 2018, now will present a citation to the members of the class of 1968.
For the past 4 years, it has been an incredible blessing for me to be a part of the Medical College of Wisconsin, class of 2018. Fellow graduates, you have continually inspired me with your intelligence, with your compassion, with the way that you've cared for one another as a student body, and for your desire to take the best that medical science has and bring it to those who are sick and hurting. It is an honor to graduate with you today. We, the class of the year of 2018, are pleased to honor the graduates from the class of 1968. It is at best a difficult task to contemplate the scope and magnitude of medical knowledge that has accrued over the past 50 years. Those of us graduating today can only imagine the dramatic changes that have transformed the practice of medicine. Those who can truly appreciate the advance of medicine are physicians who entered the profession decades ago. They have a special vantage point from which to observe what has transpired. Doctors, since 1968, you have practiced medicine during a period of exploding knowledge. Yours indeed is a very special perspective. Therefore, at this commencement, it is fitting that we who today accept the mantle of physician recognize your 50th year as graduates of our medical school. Your careers have been marked by many, many new beginnings, as ours will be. MCW is pleased to honor you for your contributes to the practice of medicine during an era which has also continually challenged your talent. At this time, I would like to introduce the 50-year alumni to the 2018 graduating class, faculty, and guests. Would all members of the class of 1968 please stand when I read each of your names and remain standing until all of you have been introduced. And for the rest of us, let's hold our applause until all the names have been read. Dr. Kenneth Amend, Dr. James Ansfield, Dr. Ronald Benz, Dr. John Brentwood, Dr. Gary Deloret, Dr. Kevin Farrell, Dr. Benjamin Fiorica, Dr. Philip Fraterigo, Dr. Thomas Hallgren, Dr. Edeltraud Handel, Dr. Paul Keenan, Dr. Thomas Kidder, Dr. John Curtin, Dr. Richard Lampe, Dr. Joseph Latina, Dr. Clyde Launecki, Dr. William Listwan, Dr. Joseph Mayer, Dr. Bruce Mize, Dr. Michael Peters, Dr. Gary Paling, Dr. James Regali, Dr. Terrence Roth, Dr. Ronald Ruskowski, Dr. Arthur Ciaroni, Dr. Robert Stanhope, Dr. Roger Struby, Dr. Robert Starshuk, Dr. John Thomas Jr., Dr. Roger Wargen, Dr. Robert Worth, and Dr. Robert Wetzler. The entire Medical College of Wisconsin community thanks you and honors you for your many decades of service and for your presence here today.
Thank you. You may be seated. One of the highest honors that an educational institution can bestow is an honorary doctoral degree. We're privileged today to recognize 9 individuals for this award. At this time, I would like to invite to the podium Dr. Ravi Misra, Dean of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, to read the citations.
Since 2000, Larry and Sharon Adams have been committed to renovating a 110-block area of Central City, Milwaukee, to improve the quality of life for its residents. Their efforts have led to the rebuilding and restoration of more than 100 homes and the transformation of more than 20 lots into gardens or green spaces. They are the founders of Walnut Way Conservation Corporation, which focuses almost entirely on improving the equity, opportunity, and cooperation within economically diverse neighborhoods. Their efforts through Walnut Way have led to more than $26 million in real estate investment and more than $125 million in commercial projects in the 53205 and 53206 zip codes. In honor of their commitment to improving the quality of life for so many of our community's residents, it is my pleasure to present Larry and Sharon Adams to you, Mr. President, as worthy recipients of Honorary Doctor of Humanities degrees.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. Will Sharon and Larry Adams and sponsors, Ms. Catherine Hudson, Dr. Linda Moyer, and Dr. John Moyer, please come forward. Mr. and Mrs. Adams, by virtue of the authority vested in me, upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the degree Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa. Will Mr. Michael Orban and sponsors Dr. Michael McBride and Dr. Michael Daly please come forward?
Vietnam veteran Michael S. Orban has dedicated his life to helping fellow veterans heal from the experiences of war. He co-founded the Warrior Partnership, an MCW program that offers veterans the chance to talk about their traumatic war experiences with medical students as well as offering students the chance to learn how to integrate the unique needs of this population into their care. Mr. Orban also serves on the Community Academic Advisory Board for Milwaukee Prompt, a collaboration between MCW and community members that is developing innovative ways to address opioid use disorder among veterans. Further, he co-founded the Incarcerated Veterans Projects and gives keynote talks on post-traumatic stress disorder, suicide, and transition to civilian life. He also spent 5 years in the U.S. Peace Corps Africa and U.S. Aid Africa. Mr. Orban was presented with the Red Cross Military Real Heroes Award in 2013 and is the author of Sold Out, Conquering Combat PTSD. In honor of his strong commitment to serving the veteran community, it is my pleasure to present Michael S. Orban to you, Mr. President, as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. Mr. Michael Orban, by virtue of the authority vested in me, upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humanities honoris causa. Will Dr. Roland Pattillo and sponsors Dr. Alonzo Walker and Dr. Joseph Kirchner please come forward?
Dr. Roland A. Pattillo has been a strong force in women's health for 5 decades, with about half of that time spent at the Medical College of Wisconsin. He is an expert on gynecologic and trophoblastic cancers and stem cell research, and led a team of physicians who successfully cultivated cervical tissue cells outside the body and used them to develop a vaccine for the human papillomavirus. Dr. Pattillo established numerous cell lines that continue to be used around the world by scientists conducting research for gynecologic and other types of cancers. In one of the lines he established was used to develop a new treatment for ovarian cancer. In honor of his commitment to improving women's health, it is my pleasure to present Dr. Roland Pattillo to you, Mr. President, as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Medical Science degree.
Dr. Roland Pattillo, by virtue of the authority vested in me, upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medical Science honoris causa. Will Mrs. Rebecca Page Ramirez and Mr. Augustin Ramirez Jr., along with sponsor Dr. Donald Hackbarth, please come forward?
Augustin Ramirez Jr., founder and executive chairman of Husco International, and his wife, Rebecca Page Ramirez, are passionate about providing others with access to a quality education. Collectively, the family and its foundation have supported construction of a new elementary and middle school at the United Community Center in Milwaukee, which provides educational opportunities to more than 1,300 predominantly Hispanic students. The Ramirez family has provided college scholarships to more than 100 Greater Milwaukee students each year. They also have committed $1 million for a new Ramirez Lean Scholars Program, which is a collaborative effort between the Milwaukee School of Engineering and the Medical College of Wisconsin to apply lean practices to delivering more effective medicine in a hospital environment. Most recently, they committed to investing $60 million to build a new K-12 school on Milwaukee's South Side. It will provide capacity for 3,000 children when completed. In honor of their efforts to improve access to quality education, it is my pleasure to present Augustin Ramirez Jr. to you, Mr. President, as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Medical Science degree, and Rebecca Page Ramirez as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. We'll confer these degrees one at a time. Mr. Augustin Ramirez Jr., by virtue of the authority vested in me upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medical Science, honoris causa. Mrs. Rebecca Page Ramirez, by virtue of the authority vested in me upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa. Will Mrs. Mary Ellen Stanek and Dr. Scott Stanek, along with sponsors Jay and Madonna Williams, please come forward?
Mary Ellen Stanek and Dr. Scott P. Stanek are generous community supporters and have focused many of their philanthropic efforts on youth development and education. Mary Ellen Stanek is Managing Director and Director of Asset Management at Robert W. Baird & Company, Chief Investment Officer for Baird Advisors, and President of the Baird Funds. She has been a member of the MC Board of Trustees since 2001 and has served on the boards of the Betty Bryn Children's Museum, Boys and Girls Clubs, Children's Hospital Foundation, the Greater Milwaukee Committee, Greater Milwaukee Foundation, Junior Achievement, Marquette University, Milwaukee World Festival, and United Way of Greater Milwaukee. Dr. Stanek is in private practice at Stanek Family Dental and is considered a thought leader and role model for dental practice in our region. In honor of their tireless commitment to serving our community, it is my pleasure to present Mrs. Mary Ellen Stanek to you, Mr. President, as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Humanities degree, and Dr. Scott Stanek as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Medical Science degree.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. These degrees will be conferred one at a time. Mrs. Mary Ellen Stanek, by virtue of the authority vested in me upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Humanities, honoris causa. Dr. Scott Stanek, by virtue of the authority vested in me upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medical Science, honoris causa. Our final honorary degree recipient for 2018 is Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel. Will Dr. Emanuel and sponsor Dr. Cheryl Marana and Dr. Joseph Kirchner please come forward?
Dr. Ezekiel J Emanuel serves as Vice Provost for Global Initiatives, the Diane V.S. Levy and Robert M. Levy University Professor and Chair of the Department of Medical Ethics and Health Policy at the University of Pennsylvania. Dr. Emanuel is a breast oncologist and author who has dedicated much of his career to healthcare reform, research ethics, and end-of-life care. Dr. Emanuel was the founding chair of the Department of Bioethics at the National Institutes of Health. He recently served as a special advisor on health policy to the director of the Office of Management and Budget and National Economic Council. Among his many honors, Dr. Emanuel was elected to the Institute of Medicine of the National Academy of Science, the Association of American Physicians, and the Royal College of Medicine in the United Kingdom. In honor of his passionate pursuit of a more effective and equitable healthcare system, it is my pleasure to present Dr. Ezekiel J Emanuel to you, Mr. President, as a worthy recipient of an honorary Doctor of Medical Science degree.
Dr. Ezekiel Emanuel, by virtue of the authority vested in me upon recommendation of the Commencement Committee and by action of the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medical Science, honoris causa.
Settle in. I know the dean said, or he told me when he asked me to come and speak, that I would have 10 or 12 minutes. But hey, I'm a professor, and we're programmed through the years to give 50-minute classes, even if we only have 10 minutes of substantive content. Sound familiar, graduates? And actually, as I was walking over here, I passed a memorial plaque reminding me that Teddy Roosevelt was shot not far from here, and he didn't die. That was October 1912. He didn't die because he had a heavy overcoat on, he had his eyeglass case, but most importantly, he had a 50-page speech that slowed the bullet down. So get comfortable, or for you students, do what you did in your med school classes, pull out your phone, start texting or shopping online. Thank you, everyone important, those people with titles up here. But I want to particularly thank the really important people here. Those are people without official titles, but they have the titles of parents, spouses, and I heard one of those children running around. You are the people who made these graduates possible and made these graduates come and arrive finally at this glorious day. So let's have a round of applause for parents, spouses, and children. I have no idea what's going through your mind, but in my mind is stark, raving fear. You're probably skeptical. Look, this guy just got an honorary degree, hood placed on his shoulders for doing absolutely nothing but showing up in Milwaukee on some Friday. Plus, you ruminate, he's standing up there, hundreds of people are listening to him blather on. He's got these accomplishments, so what does he have to fear? Well, this: saying something inspiring and memorable to these graduates. I've participated in a lot of graduations. I've had 4 graduations of my own. I've had 3 daughters. I have to go to the graduations at Penn because I'm the central administrator, and I've been to a few others for various reasons. It always seems to me impossible to say anything new. Indeed, I can't remember a single one of the speeches at any of my graduations. Indeed, I can't even remember the people who gave the speeches at my graduation. So forget the memorable and inspiring part. Being data-driven, I then considered the odds of saying anything memorable and inspiring. So I looked up. There are 5,300 colleges and universities in the United States, and fully 2,618 four-year accredited colleges, not to mention the independent law schools, the independent business schools, the independent medical and graduate schools across the country. All of them are trying to get graduation speakers every year, and they are charging those speakers with saying something memorable and inspiring. It's impossible, and that has made me terrified. It's also one reason I didn't thank the dean by name. He gave me this impossible task. But I was stupid enough to say yes. It's a huge honor to be here and to try to say something inspiring. But you want to know the secret reason I showed up and said yes? Of course you do. It's my brother Ram, mayor of one of those cities south of here. A few weeks ago, we have this sort of family texting thing, and he was crowing to the whole family that he was getting an honorary degree from a university in Ireland. He even circulated a picture of himself in some nice royal blue robes with that honorary degree hood. So I figured an honorary degree from MCW was even better, more prestigious, and would allow me to crow to my family too. And when I said yes, all I was thinking about was sibling rivalry, not memorable, inspiring speech, all in 2,000 words or less. It's impossible. So I'm going to apologize to you now, but I'm going to attempt the impossible nonetheless. What can I say to fulfill this task? So despite it being a memorable day for you, I want you to forget about today for the very few minutes remaining in my speech. I want you graduates to adopt a different perspective. The perspective I want you to adopt, I call the view from 75. Some of you may be familiar with some of my work, my claim that 75 is an important age for everyone. For those of you who don't know about that, I've said that it's the end. Well, not really the end. It's just when I'm going to stop taking any medicines, stop getting checkups, stop doing anything in the medical care system where the purpose is to extend my life. I take 75 as a proper age, a proper time in life to evaluate the value of your life. So I want you to think about how you will evaluate your life when it's close to over, when you're at 75, when certainly your working life, unless you're one of those few outliers, will be over. I want you to think about your own life at 75. Put yourself in that position. What will you be most proud of? What will make you cringe? What will seem funny, if not downright ridiculous? And what are the stories you'll tell your grandchildren over and over again? I think at that age, you'll be thinking less about what you accomplished and more about what you failed at, what you regret, what you should have done but didn't because of fear or ignorance, obliviousness, selfishness, lack of courage, laziness, fatigue, misplaced ambition, and all the other vices we inevitably have as humans. And when you think about what you will regret, you'll be able to organize and plan now to avoid those things, or at least minimize them. Minimize the regret you might have at the end, and therefore live a more complete life. As I'm closer to 75 than most of you graduates, I want to offer a few stories and lessons I've learned from thinking about the view from 75. Lesson 1. As my father often said to me, don't be a schmuck. Or to put it in more refined terms, the kind of terms you would say at a graduation speech, be thoughtful of others, especially of your patients. I have only a vague memory of Mrs. Jones. She was about 75. She had metastatic colon cancer. She came to visit me with her daughter and son-in-law every month. She was always in a wheelchair, but she was always made up. Her hair was done. She had lipstick on. There was really no medical point to her coming to see me and to those visits. She was getting 5-FU chemotherapy, which was pretty easy to tolerate, probably acting more of a placebo than really an effective treatment. Her one symptom, which was getting worse every month, was fatigue, pretty profound fatigue. But I was insensitive, and when I met with her, I urged her to be more committed to getting up and being active. I implied that her fatigue was really more in her mind than in her body. It was her mental will that was holding her back, not her physical abilities. Totally ridiculous. Her cancer and all the things we know about cancer-generated fatigue, from muscle loss to dysregulation of the energy production cycle to disrupted sleep, those were the driving forces that made her fatigued and more fatigued. But with the urging of her family, I told her it was her willpower. And with my authority, she felt bad. She felt bad every time she came to see me that she wasn't more energetic, that she couldn't get out of her wheelchair. Mrs. Jones is but one case that I can remember. There are many others, many, many others. It tells you something that I can remember that situation, lo, these 30 years later. It tells you something about the power of regret, for not being more thoughtful and not doing the simple things for other human beings. Most of the moments I regret were the result of fatigue and overwork and simply not being sufficiently empathetic. But that's no excuse. Patients, especially but not only the ones you encounter in the hospital, are vulnerable and need your help. They don't need your rudeness. They don't need your disrespect. They don't need another dismissal of their symptoms, the kind of dismissal I showed Mrs. Jones. Conversely, one of the things I am proud of are all those cases in which I was particularly thoughtful and sensitive and caring. One night I was moonlighting. At 2 a.m., an older man came in with a serious heart attack. This was his second in 6 months. The first left him very physically limited. He was really confined to a rocking chair on his daughter's front porch. He was depressed, especially since his wife had died. When I saw him, he was unconscious on a ventilator, and he was being rolled into the ICU. At that point, he wasn't DNR, and how to manage him was the real question. I spent several hours talking with his daughter. She had realized he was depressed and didn't really want to live on, especially without his wife, but she was having a hard time deciding to withhold medical treatment and maybe switch off that ventilator. Despite being totally drained that night and looking forward to the Sunday, the next day, of taking care of my 3 daughters, and who knows what papers and articles I had to write, I spent the next 2 hours talking with her, reviewing her father's life, her telling me stories about him as a father and as a soldier. It was a wide-ranging therapy session. Finally, at about 4:30 in the morning, we decided to stop his respirator. She thanked me for talking to her and making the choice clear to her. He died about 90 minutes later, calm and with his daughter there holding his hand. So lesson 1 is be thoughtful and caring of your fellow human beings. That's not something you will never regret. Principle number 2, don't be Werner Heisenberg. Try to reduce and mitigate uncertainty, not expand it in the universe. I know someone in Sweden. At 11, her son developed brain cancer. He got the full treatment, surgery, chemotherapy, and then radiation therapy. He tolerated them okay. He went back to school. Then follow-up began. Every 3 months, he was scheduled for a brain MRI to check about any tumor regrowth. I really wouldn't hear from her until about a week before those scheduled MRIs were to happen. And when I heard from her, she was beside herself with anxiety, really unhinged, talking nonsense. Then, for some reason in Sweden, it took 2 weeks to get the results of the MRI to her. This in Sweden. It tells you inefficiency is pretty universal. It's not unique to the American healthcare system. In those 2 weeks, she was really a total basket case, worrying, fearing recurrence, incoherent, impossible for her to do her job. The uncertainty was simply oppressive. And when the results came back, she returned to be a normal person. This case, because it was personal, made me think of all the patients I had for whom uncertainty, the uncertainty of waiting without knowing the result, was worse physiologically and psychologically than the certainty of their cancer even coming back. It also made me think of the prosaic cases of uncertainty we all experience every day in our lives, like when we're on airplanes and suddenly the plane is delayed. It's so much worse when there's no announcement as to what's happening, no reason given, no time updates, just nothing is happening. We're kept in the dark. A series of things go through our heads, but we're unable to focus. That's why when the pilot finally comes on and says, why we're delayed, how long it's likely to be, we calm down. One of the things I've learned in treating cancer patients is that uncertainty is really, really toxic, psychologically damaging. Uncertainty creates this unfocus. Having cancer, at least it returns people, it provides a kind of coherence. They know what the to-do list is once they have that. But when they're uncertain, they don't know what to do. I think we tend to underestimate uncertainty and how oppressive it is for people, especially people who are going through illnesses. We talk about anxious patients a bit too dismissively, but we fail to imagine how we would be with the same degree of uncertainty. As physicians, we have a lot of power to reduce, if not totally remove, uncertainty. We can't necessarily make everything better, but we can get test results faster, get results to patients immediately when we have them, keep people informed assiduously. One medical group I have studied in upstate New York organized their mammography suite so that when a woman came in for her mammogram, she actually got the results 15 minutes after it was done, given to her directly by the radiologist. And if there was something suspicious in the mammogram that required an MRI scan, it happened that day or the next day. Now that's how to reorganize care to reduce uncertainty for patients. And I would propose it's not just patients, it's family, friends, students, and a lot of people we interact with, that we should think about how to reduce their uncertainty by providing them with more information and more guidance. So that's regret 2. Regret 3, don't be a wimp. Be courageous. Don't regret at 75 the times when you failed to stand up for what's right. When I was a third-year medical student, I decided to stop my rotations and do a PhD focused on end-of-life care. I saw how bad we were doing at handling DNRs, stopping treatments, even when everyone agreed it was the right thing to do. I told the dean of students I was leaving to do a PhD across the river on figuring out how to improve end-of-life care. His response to me, "We're not going to stop you, but medicine is not about end-of-life care, and this will be a career ender for you if you focus your professional life on improving end-of-life care." Being pig-headed, I did it anyway. That was 1984. As you can tell, more than 30 years later, I could not forget or forgive that advice. And years later, when I was chair at the Department of NIH, I had recruited a faculty member who was a senior professor at Brown and one of the absolute best bioethicists in the country. I liked him, but he had views that I very often disagreed with, like being pro-euthanasia and also arguing for aborting fetuses with proven disabilities such as blindness. Well, this was the early 2000s, and President Bush was in the White House, and a lot of us government scientists were being attacked. He gave a speech at a hospital GAN rounds in which he advocated for the abortion point. The speech was videotaped and splashed across the internet. As the department chair, I was hauled in front of the leadership at the NIH and told I had to suppress these views. The direct way I was told was, "We provide financial support to your department. We'll tell you what you can and cannot say and write about." I defied my bosses and I said, "I believe in academic freedom of speech. I didn't agree with what my colleagues said, but I won't suppress those views, and I won't allow my fellow faculty members to argue for what they believe in and not try to censor them." I told them that if they didn't like that, they could fire me, but I was not going to give them the pleasure of resigning. A year or two later, my colleague left to a professorship at Harvard, but I was not fired, and the principle of academic freedom was upheld. Point number 3, be courageous, and you will recount your bravery, I suspect, to your grandchildren at 75. I have one last piece of advice. Don't behave like a hedge fund manager. One thing I am sure you will not look back on and regret is, I didn't make enough money. I know many of you are worried about large loans and the debts you've incurred to get to this day. I know how oppressive those loan numbers can be. I was still paying back loans until I was 40 years of age and had to moonlight 2 additional jobs, overnight covering the ER or an ICU in small suburban Boston hospitals. I did that for about 5 years while I was a fellow and junior faculty member and a father of 3 daughters. I know the feeling that financial debt can have on you. Nonetheless, I want to suggest you should stop worrying about money, and you shouldn't regret your financial situation, because at 75, it will not be important to you. How can I be sure? Well, let me suggest that on both the relative scale and absolute levels, as physicians, your earning will ensure you have a very good life. For one thing, you're going to be relatively well off. Relatively well off. Let me remind you that the median income in the United States, and for those of you who forgot what median means, that means half the population is below it and half is above it, is $59,000 per household. Not a whole lot of money. You will certainly be in the top half. Another fact that you might not know as well is that of all the people in the top 1% of incomes in the United States, the largest single group are doctors. While few physicians will make it to the top 0.1%, most of you, I mean the vast majority of you, between the earnings of you and your spouse, will find yourselves in the top 1%. I know this point in your career, it's really hard to believe that's true, but the numbers don't lie. I told you, I'm a data-driven guy. That's the data. But really, the most important fact about why you shouldn't worry about the money is that more money will not make you more happy and satisfied at 75. There's just a huge amount of data showing that up to a point, it is true, more money makes you more happy. But the important question is, what is that point? Economists have looked at this, and the point where the curve flattens, where more money does not mean more happiness, it's variously measured in lots of different ways. Some come up with 75,000, some come up with 105,000. At the very, very, very most top, it's about 160,000 per household. You will definitely make more than whatever that threshold is, whether it's 75, 105, or 160. So I can be pretty confident that when you get to 75, more money will not be big on your list of regrets. So live your life today like that. My advice, don't do things for money. If you do, especially if you make critical career choices on that basis, you're likely to regret it. So, I've tried to be memorable, insightful, inspiring, hopeful, but in case you were texting, sleeping, entertaining your toddler, or just nodding off, here are the 5 takeaways. Take the view from 75 and try to minimize the things you will regret at that age. And here are at least 4 simple things that you shouldn't do. Don't be a schmuck. Be thoughtful of your fellow human beings. Don't be Werner Heisenberg. Minimize uncertainty for your patients, as well as your family, friends, and others. Don't be a wimp. Be courageous. At least don't be a wimp when the things get going, and take principled stands to defend them. And finally, don't do it for the money. You'll make enough money since, after all, you're about to become doctors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emanuel, for a very memorable commencement address. At this time, I'll turn the podium over to Dr. Ravi Misra, Dean of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, to present his remarks to our graduates.
President Raymond, members of the board, Dean Kirchner, Dean McKinnon, distinguished guests, faculty colleagues, alumni, family, and friends. The mission of the graduate school is to educate and train the next generation of scientists and healthcare workers. The focus of our dedicated world-class faculty in all our educational programs is to give our students a strong foundation that will allow them to achieve individual success while making important contributions to science and societal health. To you, our class of 2018 graduate students, today is a day for you and your family to celebrate. Today is also the day that our MCW family gets to stop and celebrate your considerable achievements. And I want to remind you, getting an advanced degree from a world-class academic health center is a considerable achievement. Today is also a day to look forward to the promise of the future. But what will that future look like? Today, medicine and science are in a golden age that is fundamentally changing our understanding of biology and the treatment of disease. And a great intellectual adventure is out there waiting for you. You will be the ones that society will depend on to reshape our understanding of human biology. And you will be the ones that discover new cures and better treatment for disease that your clinical colleagues will use to minister to the sick and the infirm. But as promising and as exciting a future as that may sound, there are also profound economic and political forces that have been changing how healthcare and discovery science are funded. As a result, your career paths will not look like your mentors, or for that matter, your mentors' mentors. And you, much more so than previous generations, will need to take ownership of your future and make what for many of you may be hard decisions on whether you want to pursue careers in academia, the private sector, public service or education, or leave science entirely. In uncertain times where the path forward may not be clear, there may be a temptation to retreat from your ideals, to turn inward, or to retreat from boldness and creativity. But at certain times also offer the challenge and the opportunity for those of you willing to take it to be part of changing the world. Today, I want to ask each of you to take up that challenge, to live out the proud MCW tradition of excellence and service, to seize the day with optimism, and as the old adage says, be the change you want to see in the world. But I also ask of you something else, something that is particularly important amidst these times of severe societal and political polarization, times in which we sometimes seem to be in pitched battle with ourselves and struggle sometimes to distinguish between facts and alternative facts on the most urgent problems we face today. I ask you to remember that as scientists and scholars, you have committed your lives to be part of a centuries-old calling to use the tools of rational empirical inquiry and intellectual honesty, both to understand the world around you and to make the world a better and more compassionate place to live. As you go forward and make your careers and take up new challenges, I urge you all to carry the torch of the scientific tradition high through your works in the world, and as importantly, to be emissaries to your family, friends, community, and society at large of this powerful and noble tradition. With those words, I would now like to ask all our graduate students to stand for the MCW Graduate School Oath. This oath signifies your commitment to our academic core values and your commitment to the commonly accepted ethical values of the academic scientific community. So repeat after me. I do hereby promise, nice and loud, okay guys, if we can't hear you up in the upper deck, to conduct myself in a manner deserving of inclusion in the community of scholars that I join today, by fostering collegiality and engagement, I will disavow prejudice, never allowing financial gain, competition, or ambition to cloud my judgment in the ethical conduct of my craft. I will act with honesty, integrity, and objectivity in the pursuit of constructive knowledge that furthers my discipline and benefits society as a whole. Finally, I will honor the foundation of knowledge that has come before me. And the promise of new discoveries to come. Great, be seated. Before President Raymond confers your degrees, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me a few moments of your attention on this very special day. And I ask you to accept mine and the graduate school faculty's congratulations for a job well done and the promise of a bright future. I truly wish you all the best of luck. And now we will begin the conferral of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences degrees. Will the candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy degree please rise? Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, I present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and recommend that this degree be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and pronounce you graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin.
Graduates, please come forward.
Alex Michael Abel. Alex discovered that a scaffold protein is critical for natural killer cells to produce pro-inflammatory cytokines. John David Buckervy. John developed novel imaging methods to examine blood flow in the kidney. Michael W. Curtis. Michael investigated how Lyme disease bacteria are able to establish infections in mammals. Maciej Czernetsky. Maciej investigated how DNA viruses copy their DNA as part of their infectious cycle. Dr. Eric John Dara. Eric identified important factors for immune cell infections and related symptoms during gamma herpes infections. Alexander Rhodes Dayton. Alexander developed statistical methods to apply big data approaches to kidney disease. Matthew Hull Forsberg. Matthew investigated the role of a protein called CD137 in the development of type 1 diabetes. Dr. Patrick James Gagnon. Patrick discovered a mechanism that regulates nucleolar stress and cell cycle arrest in cancer. Jonathan Karl Jeske. Jonathan developed a mouse model which shows inflammatory signals contributing to mucosal tolerance. Dr. Andrew Owens Cadillac. Andrew identified a new pathway that may help to explain the beneficial effects of exercise on small blood vessels. Dr. Stephanie Lynn Kellogg. Stephanie discovered the identification of a network of factors that contribute to antibiotic resistance. Dr. Raman George Cutty. Raman discovered a protein that controls how immune cells mature and develop during the regulation of that protein. Dr. Benjamin Labbe. Ben developed a novel method to assess signaling enzyme activity levels within bacterial cells. Dr. Thomas Morris Langer. Thomas studied the effect of neurochemical stimuli on respiration. Dr. Tyler Robert Lewis. Tyler investigated how cellular motors regulate both the structure and function of cells in the eye to promote normal vision. Dr. Nikolai Mitskaichus. Nikolai invented MRI technologies to help treat tumors with radiation more precisely. Dr. James Joseph Miller. James showed that a non-opioid target can be blocked to alleviate pain in a genetic disease. Dr. Francie Mooring. Francie showed that our skin plays a major role in how we sense painful and non-painful touch. Dr. Shauna Ann Rasmussen. Shauna was one of the first to demonstrate the ability to transplant and select primary human hepatocytes in a rat model of liver failure. Dr. Chris Andrew Reed. Chris developed gene therapy treatments for retinal disease. Dr. Michael Henry Reimer. Michael discovered new roles for DNA-modifying enzymes in early development. Dr. Sarah Jill Riota. Sarah enhanced our structural understanding of a protein mediator of the skin disorder psoriasis. Dr. Natasha Ann Saar. Natasha developed a statistical procedure for screening related high-dimensional variables when simultaneously studying multiple diseases. Dr. Daniel Jacob Schill. Dan Schill discovered unique binding features of factors that are important for liver function. Dr. Rebecca Lynn Schill. Becky discovered that modifications to HDL can make the good cholesterol turn bad. Dr. Yushi Shi. Yushi developed new statistical ways to assess the risks inherent in disease treatments over time. Dr. A. Miat Thin. Dr. Thin solved the structure of a cell adhesion molecule to understand its conformational regulation. Dr. Monica Ariel Thomas. Monica showed how changes to the shape of a protein can alter its role in normal physiology and disease. Dr. Brittany Marie Wade. Brittany investigated how white blood cells can damage the kidney and contribute to high blood pressure. Dr. Christine Nicole Westop. Christine discovered new functions of a cytomegalovirus protein that will open up new antiviral therapies. Dr. Zhan Xu. Zhan developed a new MRI signal acquisition method that could boost the magnetic resonance interest contrast to noise ratio as much as 200%. And Dr. Mua Yang. Mua discovered that a protein called CD36 promotes blood clotting by generating reactive oxidants.
I will now present the candidates for the Master of Science degree. Candidates, arise. Mr. President, these candidates have qualified for the Master of Science degree and have been so certified by the faculty of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. I am pleased to present these candidates to you and recommend that the degree Master of Science be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Science and pronounce you graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Graduates, please come forward.
Dr. Ahmed Al-Mohari. Dr. Surab Chabra. Dr. Guru Subramanian Guru Murthy. Dr. Swapna Narayana Rao Gari. Kelechi God's Power Ndukwe. Dr. Jonathan Robert Thompson. Catherine Joyce Woods.
I will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Medical Physiology. Candidates, arise. Mr. President, these candidates have qualified for the Master of Medical Physiology degree and have been so certified by the faculty of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. I am pleased to present these candidates to you and recommend that the degree Master of Medical Physiology be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Medical Physiology and pronounce you graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Mordecai Israel Bates. David Buji. Joseph Anthony De Giuseppe. Olivia Maria Ford. Eric James Gerhardt. Danielle Crystal Graff. Nicole Ashley Griffin. Christopher Daniel McGee. Tatiana Regina Bludgett Perry. Mackenzie Lynn Reed. William Reinhardt. Thomas Jeffrey Reuter. Dominic Charles Shout. Jamela Ashley Simpson. Neha Singh. Matthew John Slaught. Sarah Renee Stephan. Jalen Zamai.
I will now present the candidates for the degree of Master of Public Health. Candidates, please arise. Mr. President, these candidates have qualified for the Master of Public Health degree and have been so certified by the faculty of the Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences. I am pleased to present these candidates to you and recommend that the degree Master of Public Health be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. By the authority vested in me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Public Health and pronounce you graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Cassidy Ball. Daniel Huber. Tammy Lynn Coleman. Sarah Elizabeth Krekel. Kaylin Paige Mitchell. Alan Ramos. Gabrielle Lynn Threat. Allison Jean Weiss.
Will those graduates who have received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Science, Master of Medical Physiology, and Master of Public Health please rise? As graduates of MCW's Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, you've chosen to dedicate your lives and your careers to discovery and the generation of new knowledge and to the health of the public. These are noble pursuits that will advance the prevention, detection, treatment, and cure of disease and injury. Your legacy will be the contributions that you make to the base of scientific knowledge and the improved quality of life derived for people throughout the world today and for generations to come. We congratulate you, the graduates of MCW's Graduate School of Biomedical Sciences, class of 2018. You may be seated. Thank you. At this time, I'll turn the podium over to Dr. Joseph E. Kirchner, Dean of the School of Medicine, Provost, and Executive Vice President, to present remarks to the medical school graduates.
Thank you, President Raymond. Members of the board, Deans Misra and McKinnon, distinguished guests, faculty, alumni, family, friends, and most importantly, our graduates. I get a chance to say a few words to you. So, as an otolaryngology surgery resident, I learned early on that the way to remember things was to write them down. My Loray's textbook of head and neck anatomy, after I'd do a surgery, at least with one of the attendings that I thought was pretty good at it, I'd actually finish the case and I'd go back and write in the margins of the textbook the steps of the surgery. So, any of you have your cell phones today? Raise your hand, honestly. You have your cell phones? Take them out. Go ahead, take them out. It's allowed. Go ahead. So I also know as an educator that the way to do things, to remember things, is to repeat them. Okay, so anybody in the audience on Instagram or Twitter, raise your hand. All right, there are a couple brave souls. Okay, so those of you who raised your hand, you're actually going to have an opportunity to help us out here to make sure that Dr. Emanuel's points are remembered. So within my talk, you're going to have an opportunity to post this on Twitter or Instagram. We all know with the internet, it's there forever. So when you reach the age of 75, you'll be able to go back to the internet and say, who was that guy and what did he talk about? All right, so those of you who have their phone out, this is what I have written down. Dr. Emanuel, if I get it wrong, you can come up here. Any good teacher will correct the person that's at the podium. So first line, Dr. Emanuel. So he couldn't remember any of his commencement speakers. You're going to have your chance to have it ingrained on the internet. The number 75. He didn't actually put this one in there about one of his 4 points, but he really did start with this, and I think it's important. So again, as any good educator, I'm going to modify his talk a little bit. Empathy's at the top. Simplify. Kindness. He said, don't be a schmuck. Be courageous, and don't worry about money. All right? So those are the points. Who wrote them down? Raise your hand if you wrote those down. All right, we've got a few. Did somebody write them down who's also on Twitter or on Instagram? Come on, guys. Someone? All right, if not, I'll post this later. So, quiz number 2. I said I was done giving you homework assignments the other day as we did the School of Medicine hooding, but I didn't say I was done testing you. So, here's the quiz. What have we been talking about since we started sort of at the hooding ceremony and senior dinner last night and today? What has been the theme of everything that I've said to you, those of you in the School of Medicine? Somebody shout it out. Oh yeah, see, look, it's right there, knowledge changing life. Yeah, you guys are smart. You're ready to graduate. You're ready to graduate. You know, I said I would get a couple of examples from last night's senior dinner, and the one that stood out the most to me was one of your classmates came up to me and said that their entire experience at MCW had been life-changing. So I asked a little bit about that, and I think they said pretty much everything. So You know, an experience can be life-changing, and that's really important. And I want you to take that motto, I want you to take that with you as you go forward and change lives. One of the things that I get an opportunity to do in my national role at the Council of Deans and the AAMC, Association for American Medical Colleges, is look how we're changing the way in which we allow you to absorb that knowledge that will change your lives. And so I do want you to know that we're working on things to make medical education better. The Medical College of Wisconsin is a leading institution in the country trying to turn things on its head. I do think I'm actually the only dean of a medical school to have asked their students to take out their cell phone and take notes during commencement. But we're doing things that are more substantial than that. And across the front, I know there are some things that are frustrating to you, but things like step one of the boards. How many of you in the audience think step one of the boards has too much emphasis on what you do in your life? Only the honest ones raised their hand, right? So, no, it is something that we're really looking at. We're looking at how we look at the step one of our boards and how we use that tool. We're also doing other things about knowledge and being able to express that in how you apply for residencies. So I know we have some emergency medicine residents for next year, and all of you took the standardized interview. All of you took the standardized interview for emergency medicine, and we're looking at other tools nationally to see how we can pair up students with their specialty and not making things so dependent upon step one of your board scores. Here at the Medical College of Wisconsin, we're looking at things like caring and character. So you heard Dr. Emanuel talk about that, right? Kindness and caring. We're looking about how we measure that and how we can make sure that we're selecting for that as students come to medical school and move on to residency. The character of an individual matters, and competency is important too. There will be a time in your lives in which you don't just start residency July 1 with every new resident starting, I guess you start a couple of weeks earlier with your orientation, but July 1, right? I think in your practice time, certainly, there will be 3 or 4 or maybe 10 times in which you can enter residency. And there will be an opportunity for you as learners, as individuals who come forward, to really demonstrate your competencies in new ways. And that'll be important because how often does medical knowledge double now? As of today, it's about every 100 days. So being able to demonstrate competencies in lifelong learning is important. Way back in the dark ages, when I was a resident, medical knowledge doubled every 5 years. I was able to complete my otolaryngology head and neck surgery residency in about the time that medical knowledge doubled. So we've given you some tools to build upon. We've given you the ability to have some knowledge. You've gotten some words of wisdom today. But as you move forward, it's up to you to continue to replenish that knowledge, to make sure you stay up to date, make sure you're on the cutting edge so that the knowledge that you have continues to change the lives, just like the saying says up there. I got to find my way here in the speech because I sort of just did it from memory. All right, there's supposed to be a second slide. There it is. There it is. All right, it works. So get social, right? You can follow us at the Medical College or all of these other things. You can follow me at MCW Dean. But somebody, if you've got Twitter or Instagram and you wrote down the things, please do put it on Instagram or tweet it out. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for giving me a few minutes to address you. Thanks for letting us try to immortalize all of these words of wisdom. And now we're going to proceed to the administration of the oath of Hippocrates. So the candidates for the degree of medicine, arise, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear by that which I hold most sacred that I will be loyal to the profession of medicine and just and generous to its members, that I will lead my life and practice my art in uprightness and honor, that into whatsoever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick and the well, to the utmost of my power, that I will hold myself aloof from wrong, from corruption, from tempting others to vice, that I will exercise my art solely for the cure of my patients and the prevention of disease, that I will give no drug, perform no operation for a criminal purpose, far less suggest it, that whatsoever I shall see or hear which is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep inviolably secret. These things I do promise, and in proportion as I am faithful to this my oath, may happiness and good repute be ever mine. The opposite, if I shall be forsworn. Please be seated. Before I conclude, I'd like to share with you that 13 members of the class of 2018 will be commissioned into branches of the United States military. This group of students have attended medical school on U.S. military health profession scholarships, and it has been an honor to watch these remarkable individuals grow as doctors and embark on a rewarding career. They will be participating in a pinning ceremony and taking the oath immediately following our ceremonies this afternoon, but I would like to ask that these special graduates stand now to be recognized. Thank you for your service. Would the whole class stand now, please? President Raymond, on behalf of the faculty of the Medical College of Wisconsin, I present these candidates for the degree of Doctor of Medicine and recommend that this degree be conferred upon them.
Thank you, Dr. Kirchner. By the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Medicine and pronounce you graduates of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Oh, there goes my hat. Dr. Tonya Afshan. Dr. Naomi Elizabeth Agaji. Dr. Sylvia Akaula. Dr. Naimu Alam. Dr. Angel Alvarez. Dr. Eric Anderson. Dr. Arjun Athreya. Dr. Arya Bagari. Dr. David Antanas Baltrusitis. Dr. Alexander Barr. Dr. Fong Tilton Bell. Dr. Philip Clayton Biggs. Dr. James Michael Billings. Dr. Michael Antonio Blaylock. Dr. Rachel Alexis Bodis. Dr. Matthew Bohr. Dr. Michael Ralph Boswell. Dr. Stephen Michael Brennan. Dr. Christine Elizabeth Brickta. Dr. Morgan Randall Briggs. Dr. Andrew Mark Brown. Dr. Cullen Buchanan with honors in research. Dr. Meredith Charlene Buck. Dr. Patrick Budney. Dr. John Byun. Dr. Megan Rosemary Caballero. Dr. Elizabeth Trudy Kamenga. Dr. Sarah Nicole Carpenter. Dr. Catherine Ann Carr. Dr. Elvin Y. Chan. Dr. Franklin Chang. Dr. David Kenneth Charles. Dr. Ashley Leilani Yokuko Meiling Chin. Dr. Julianne Cho. Dr. April Choi. Dr. Sarah Lynn Krabus. Dr. Sheridan Augustine Marshall Cooper. Dr. Edwin Corral. Dr. Matthew Jude Crabtree. Dr. Heather Zarni with honors in community engagement. Dr. Angelin Esther David. Dr. Anthony Richard DeCluson. Dr. Kristen Andrea DeMarco. Dr. Daniel James Destish. Dr. Taran Singh Dhaliwal. Dr. Priscilla Ding. Dr. Ashley Leon Dorduelo. Dr. Marie Sinclair Dreyer with honors in research. Dr. Mary Duncan. Dr. Alexandra Julian Dyer. Dr. Paul Amos Dyrud. Dr. Preston David Easterday. Dr. Jonathan Daniel Eben, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Siani Ellison. Dr. Kenzie Erdman. Dr. Stephen Scott Erickson. Dr. Sean Nushaw Urshadi. Dr. Olufisayo Fagbemi. Dr. Christina Falk. Dr. Brianna Hall Keatley Franklin. Dr. Jace J. Franco. Dr. Kyla Fredrickson. Dr. Shannon Friedbacher. Dr. Courtney Lynn Gabarino with honors in research. Dr. Rebecca Lynn Gehrman. Dr. Harrison John Gertis with honors in research. Dr. Clayton Harrison Gerndt. Dr. Karen Giles, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Luis Enrique Gonzalez. Dr. Alan Gorman. Dr. Spencer Wolf Greaves. Dr. Adam Hadro. Dr. Tiana Chelsea Hallberg. Dr. Sydney Jean Hansen. Dr. Adam Hintz. Dr. William Lewis Hollabaugh. Dr. Miguel Huerta. Dr. Bailey Hutchinson. Dr. Samuel Benjamin Huxley. Dr. Zara Ismail. Dr. Andre Jack Jacobson. Dr. Sandeep Jain. Dr. Constance Lois Joel. Dr. Jack James Jorgensen. Dr. Abipsa Carr. Dr. Stephanie Ann Kurzweil. Dr. Jamil Hassan Khan. Dr. Sinthu Parkavi Gilakati. Dr. Matthew Thomas Klinka. Dr. Brittany Klooster. Dr. Michael John Canabo. Dr. Catherine Kanicki. Dr. Kate Kraus. Dr. Jacob Raymond Cream. Dr. Erin Marie Kropp, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Marcus Lacey. Dr. Christopher Langlow, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Christopher Michael Laprade. Dr. Laura Rose Ledvora. Dr. Jane Soon Lee. Dr. Tyler Benjamin Lennon. Dr. Aristotle Leonard. Dr. Lawrence Lynn. Dr. Thomas Philip Loduca. Dr. Hector Emanuel Lopez. Dr. Ryan James Luby. Dr. Alexandra Ann Lynch. Dr. Matthew Ryan McDonald. Dr. Alexander McGee. Dr. Weston Joseph Meyer. Dr. Prasanna Marate. Dr. John Marquardt with honors in research. Dr. Buba Marang. Dr. Connor Brian Masterson. Dr. Amy Matthew. Dr. Michael Mead. Dr. Carolyn Marcella Miners. Dr. Melanie Mercer. Dr. Paul Thomas Merchant. Dr. Haley Rose Mertens. Dr. Daniel Mahalik with honors in research. Dr. Andrew Richard Minkley. Dr. Matthew Michaud. Dr. James Cole Mooney. Dr. Caitlin Mary Moore. Dr. Jennifer Rochelle Moore. Dr. Luis Felipe Murguia. Dr. Aaron Punky Myers. Dr. Anissa DeFore. Dr. Jasmine Ann Nino. Dr. Alexandra Elizabeth Nyman. Dr. Simon Newsome. Dr. Peter Michael O'Day. Dr. Ellen Marie Olander. Dr. Samantha Jo Oleziak. Dr. Waylon O'Young. Dr. John Martin Owen. Dr. Ryan Pang. Dr. David Park. Dr. Robert James Pattison. Dr. Eunice Paul. Dr. Douglas Caldwell Pierce. Dr. Nicholas Trent Placone. Dr. Caitlin Quinn. Dr. Puneet Rana. Dr. Ruben Raychowdhury. Dr. Gage Reason. Dr. Andrew John Regent Smith. Dr. Joshua Rayberg. Dr. Jordan Renicky. Dr. Robert Rivera. Dr. Connor James Roberts. Dr. Sophie Grace Rodriguez Pereira. Dr. Medea Chowdhury Rosillo with honors in research. Dr. Ryan Schmid. Dr. Tyler John Schmidt. Dr. Megan Ray Schneiderman. Dr. Michael Harris Schwartz. Dr. Adriana Catherine Sagata. Dr. Joanna Saloff. Dr. David Serksness. Dr. Blanca Cerna. Dr. Rima Shah. Dr. Zachary Shaheen, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Cara Victoria Signorelli. Dr. Selena Singh. Dr. Jaron Andrew Smith. Dr. Taylor Lauren Starzinski. Dr. Ryan Stefanchuk. Dr. Andrew John Strazewski. Dr. Jessa Swartz. Dr. Matthew B. Tabakin. Dr. Michael Nader Tanyos. Dr. Allison Cochran Taylor. Dr. Michael Richard Tedness, Jr. Dr. Chanel Thomas. Dr. Brian D. Thorne. Dr. Stephanie Yvonne Torres. Dr. Elliot Sun Toy. Dr. Connie Trung. Dr. Rachel Ann Umhafer. Dr. Jonathan Van Wickel. Dr. Tracy Ann Vandewater. Dr. Daniel Joseph Walden. Dr. Shen Wang. Dr. Ashley Watson. Dr. Joseph Allen Weber. Dr. Matthew William Weber. Dr. Christy Lynn Weinmeister. Dr. Keith Christopher Whitesey. Dr. Mac Roman Wenninger. Dr. Heather Marie Wickman. Dr. Nicholas Waklinski. Dr. Vincent G. Young. Dr. Eric Shiping Yu with honors in research. Dr. Catherine Janelle Henley Zapia, a graduate of the Medical Scientist Training Program. Dr. Raquel Marie Zarb. Dr. Wei Hao Zhang.
I'm sure that I speak for the minds and hearts of this entire audience when I say to this group of graduates, collectively and individually, that we're proud of you and of your achievements. MCW and its faculty are pleased to have had a part in your preparation, and today we've made public our trust in you. We fully and eagerly anticipate your future successes and accomplishments. With us today, apart from the graduates themselves, is another group which is very much a part of this experience and which deserves special recognition. I'm speaking of the family members, special friends, MCW staff, faculty, alumni, and others who've contributed to the achievement of those who've received their degrees today. Please hold your applause until everyone has the opportunity to stand. But those of you who are wives, husbands, significant others, spouses, please stand. Children, parents, grandparents of the graduates, please stand. Looks like a shy crowd. Go ahead, it's all right to stand. And if you're an aunt, uncle, significant other, family member who's contributed to the well-being of our students, please stand. Now that you've received sufficient adulation, you may be seated. All of you who stood before us have been more than spectators during these ceremonies. You're participants in a very real sense. Without your help, your patience, your encouragement, your willingness to sacrifice, your love, many of those who've just received their diplomas would not have been here this afternoon. You too have a reason to celebrate an achievement. In significant measure, these ceremonies also belong to you. You've made an investment in these graduates and in the Medical College of Wisconsin. Not only at this moment, but for all time, you have a right to take pride in your efforts and accomplishments and to consider yourselves members of the MCW family. I hope that you've already claimed for yourselves some part of the applause which has been given, and I hope that you'll accept exclusively for yourselves all the applause which we just gave you. Now, with that, I'd like to conclude the commencement exercises for 2018. In closing, we again congratulate you, the class of 2018 of the Medical College of Wisconsin. We also remind you that true happiness is found only in the service of others, whether family, friends, or even strangers, as so eloquently outlined in Dr. Emanuel's commencement address. As much as you're willing to engage meaningfully in the service of others, so shall you be rewarded with happiness and joy. You're all very well prepared for this service. We ask that you use it well for the betterment of mankind and your communities. And so, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, the faculty, the administration, and the staff of your medical alma mater, we wish you every success and all the happiness which you can hold. Now, we do ask that you please remain seated until the faculty and graduates have exited the hall, and thank you so much for joining us today.
One, two, three.